What's up? Okay, so I have been getting a few people in my inbox asking me the legality behind my little rant yesterday. So, okay, let me see if I can put it, because I'm not giving you legal advice. Okay, but I'm just going to let you know. I'm just going to intertwine it legally. Okay, so here's what happens. Yesterday, I, spoke on basically men kind of not giving women in relationships or life in general what they request out of them. And why, men should probably put forth a little bit of a better effort based on the type of women that they're trying to get. Okay, women legally. And then I told women, basically, look, if he's half-assing it now, he will half it later. Okay? Here's why I say that. I say that because that's what happens. Okay? Out of like 10 divorces that I get, I will say like 8 of them saw it coming. Like the men didn't change from the way that they were when they dated. So if they were cheating prior to, and you didn't get it understood that was not acceptable. If, they were whatever types of behaviors that people tend to have in a dating relationship, they have them in a marriage and then thrice fold in a divorce. Does that make sense? So when you put yourself in a position to be as someone's mate, if you're looking to be serious with that person, you have to pretty much see how they're behaving at the time, because it's not going to change it. It will only enhance itself depending on what happens in your life with that person. Meaning when you get married to them, they're going to continue the behavior on. And then if you were to get a divorce, it's going to be 3 times worse than it was when you were with them. Does that make sense? So whenever you see these certain behaviors, or some women are like, he's a narcissist or whatever, when you see these behaviors, recognize them. They're not going to get better. The behaviors are not going to get better. If they're not going to counseling, it's not going to get better. If they're not trying to sit down with you and work these things out, it's not going to get better. If they're not respecting your boundaries while you guys are in a relationship and you're not married, it's not going to get better. So don't marry the person thinking that, okay, well, when we're married, he'll respect the boundaries. Because he's not respecting them now. If he's a jerk now, he's definitely going to be one when you get married, and you got papers on that dog. And so that's what I mean when I say, be very careful when you're dating on picking up on people's behaviors, because it don't change. I have so many clients that are like, I just wish he's the guy that all my friends were like, why are you with him? Those generally end up in divorce. I mean, it may not even be right away. It may be 10 or 15 years, but it usually ends in a divorce, guys. Most of the time in the first 3.5 years, the divorce is filed. Women who try to hang on to nothing, which there are a lot of us out there that try to hang on to nothing, those divorces happen within 10 to 15 years. And then you still are back where you started with a divorce. And now you got extra 10 to 15 years on your belt, and you got to go back and jump out into the sea of dating, which really sucks. So that's what I meant. That's my little legal spin on basically my rant from yesterday, is that men need to get together, and women, we need to put a bar up there for these men to reach. Not all men, but, some of them they're not doing anything. They don't deserve the woman that they're with. Okay? It's not okay for men not to do anything with their lives. It's okay for women to be bearing children and sitting at home. That's okay. That's fine. Historically it's happened. It's something that's widely accepted. But if you don't work, you don't eat. So you get a guy that's like half, doing stuff, or that counts on you for the bills to be paid, or that you're constantly having to dip into your money and pay all the bills. It's not going to get better when you're with him. If he has a nasty attitude, he's rude and disrespectful, he's controlling, it's not going to get better when you marry him. So these are you need to really set, restrictions in your relationships, because if you want to be with somebody, y'all are going to have to respect each other's boundaries, and they're going to have to acquiesce in what your boundaries are, or else it's going to be a bunch of fighting all the time. Okay? So that's just my little, not so much as legal advice, but a legal expoundment per se on my rant from yesterday. All right, y'all. Toodles.